So we're here in Boston for a Gene Traders clone and seed event. We have some speakers here today.
15 minutes. That's it.
So I'm gonna hop on them and start talking about talk to one of the speakers here. So we're here with Dr. Sadi. She is with a company called Tumi, and basically, well, you know what? I'm going to let her get into that with you guys here. So tell us, what does your company do?
So I am the Chief Science Officer at Tumi Genomics, and what we do at Tumi Genomics is pathogen mitigation for cannabis growers. So we test for a variety of pathogens. Hop latent viroid, of course, is the biggest one. Also a panel of other viruses and viroids, as well as fungal and mold-type pathogens. We are also developing an on-site testing platform with a digital phone app analysis software. So if people wanted to start testing in their facility, they can also do that. And on a bigger scale, we help cultivators, big and small, organize standard operating procedures to help them with pathogen mitigation to limit economic loss from cannabis pathogens.
Nice. How long have you been doing this for?
So the company was founded about 2.5 years ago, and we've been testing for hop latent viroid specifically for about 1.5 years.
Great. So you just said some kind of scientific terminology. You want to break that down in regards to what that is?
Yes. So basically, there are a bunch of, germs or bad guys that infect cannabis plants. And these pathogens or germs can kill the plant. They can reduce the growth of the plant, or the worst symptom, of course, is that they can completely destroy the flower, making your plant really not worth nearly as much as it should be worth. And so what we do is we look for these, germs or bad guys in the plants, and we let people know if they have an outbreak in their facility, whether or not they've just purchased a clone that's infected, so that they can not put that plant next to their other plants and kind of stop the spread of these pathogens or germs or whatever through their grow.
Wow. And what made you decide to get into this kind of field?
So our company, strange story, was actually doing a lot of COVID diagnostics when we first started, because we founded the company at the same time as the COVID pandemic. And we were running the COVID diagnostic lab at CU Boulder. And kind of at that same time as we were doing a bunch of PCR testing for COVID, which is also a virus, we had somebody contact us who has a clone facility in California, and she needed help diagnosing hop latent viroid, which is one of the major pathogens affecting the cannabis industry right now. And we said sure, and we created some assays, and then it just kind of grew there from word of mouth. But I will say that one of the main missions of our company is to bring some of the innovative science that we were doing in academia, or that's going on in academia, and kind of bring solutions to the cannabis industry. And so once we got into this market, we realized this was an excellent fit for us, because if there was ever an industry that really needed top-notch scientific solutions and education, it's the cannabis industry. And so we're excited.
Nice. Thank you for the work that you're doing. So as far as when you say hop laroid, what is that again? Can you give me a little bit more breakdown on that?
Yes. So hop latent viroid is a pathogen that was actually discovered in hop plants. So those, that flavor beer. So genetically, hop and cannabis are very similar. So at some point, that pathogen jumped from hops plants into cannabis plants.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. And you're saying that basically kind of makes the flower production come out like mush. Is that what happens if you don't catch it?
Yes, absolutely. So that is one of the most prominent symptoms of hop latent viroid. The flowers are small, underformed, dramatically reduced THC and CBD content.
Yeah, I think I had that certain situation like that happen to me. I was growing outdoors, had about 10 plants outdoor, and then like 1 out of the 10, it just died.
Yeah.
Just dropped. And I was like, out of the whole 10, I was like, I don't even know what happened. All
Yes.
I know, it just became, it stopped producing, and then it just fell over. So is that kind of like what happens with that kind of virus?
Yeah, so you can see symptoms like that. Unfortunately, hop latent thyroid is very varied in the kind of symptoms that it can cause. So you can see extreme symptoms, stunted growth, super brittle stems, all the way up to the plant looking more or less, asymptomatic or no symptoms until it flowers. And that's what makes this particular pathogen so dangerous and insidious, because it just spreads and you can't tell.
What kind of tips can you tell somebody if they wanted to, if they think they have it or possibly they might have it? What are some of the telltale signs?
Yes, so common symptoms that you could see are stunted growth. Sometimes the plants will grow really bushy, kind of like a Christmas tree. Probably one of the most common signs is that instead of that normal 45-degree angle of the branches coming off the main stem,
asymmetrical.
Yep, you're going to see more horizontal growth, and that's going to result in really brittle stems. You can also see leaf overlap, leaf discoloration, tiny yellow leaves, and of course then the flower symptoms. But at that point, it's kind of too late. Yep, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, here I am, a grower, and then I do notice that I have the situation going on. What can I do to fix the situation, or is it better just to get rid of the plant?
Yes. So unfortunately, there is no topical cure for hop latent thyroid. You can eliminate it from a really prized genetic using tissue culture, but you're not going to be able to save a run like that. The best way to keep hop latent thyroid from causing problems is prevention.
Okay. And what are those prevention techniques you want to talk about?
Yes, so we actually have a little program that we've come up with called the STOP Pathogen Prevention Program. Okay. And STOP stands for a sterile environment, and that includes sterilizing your tools in between each plant with bleach, 60 seconds. We also highly recommend that people test regularly. If you don't test, you won't know for sure whether or not your plant is infected and whether or not it's spreading through your facility. There are also some organizational things that people can do to stop the spread of pathogens in general, like starting with your most valuable room and then moving to the room with the most pathogen pressure, so that would be your flower room. And also tracking where your clones are that come from each mother. So if you find out one of your plants is sick, you have some way to track those clones. And then the last one is protect your borders. So do not let anything into your facility that has not been tested. If you bring something in, put it in a quarantine space, test it, wait 3 to 4 weeks, and then test it again. All right, so that's to make sure that if there was a low level infection, the next time around you catch it. And you want to do that before you put that plant next to your favorite varieties, or you threaten spread of that pathogen through all of your plants.
Wow. So 3 to 4 weeks. Wow, that's a pretty that's a decent time.
Yes.
I generally do about maybe 3 to 4 weeks, no matter what. But you're saying that even doing a secondary test might be also grateful or even better for you to do versus just going with the first initial test, right?
Yeah. So we usually recommend people get 2 negative tests before they feel super confident.
with the rest of the grow.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I've seen where, I had another buddy of mine, he had like, he had a room going and like some clones, and I don't know, I guess it must have got to the clones, or it just wiped them out completely.
Yes, yeah. No, this pathogen can be very devastating. And unfortunately, I've talked to a bunch of cultivators who, have suffered serious economic loss from this. So I like to tell people that I know that testing it costs money, but it's cheaper than not testing in the end.
100%. So, as far as, remedies or anything else? You mentioned in regards to keeping it clean in between each plant. So 60 seconds in a bleach is one thing they can do in regards to if they're using scissors and whatnot or prunage. But what else is there besides that? Do you believe in anything else that can also be a preventative?
Yeah, so major things that people can do from that aspect, and well, this is going to help with the spread of all pathogens.
Okay.
So you need to protect the plants from yourself. So that means covering up your street clothes with something, whether it's a clean lab coat or, a disposable bodysuit. You should be wearing gloves when you touch your plants because there is, nasty stuff on people's hands. When you move from plant to plant, you can use a 10% bottle of bleach, spray it on your gloves, rub that around like hand sanitizer, and then move to the next plant. It's also really recommended you don't leave plant debris lying around. Pathogens love rotting plant material, and that's an excellent way to spread fungal spores and all sorts of other nasty stuff around your facility.
So if you guys are doing composting, make sure you keep it out of the area where you would keep your plants is the best, right?
Yes, absolutely. And do not compost a plant that was sick. You absolutely don't do that.
Yeah, waste not wanting that. Some guys believe,
Yeah.
it's already dead. Might as well put it in the compost pile.
Not a good idea.
Not a good idea
yeah.
unless if you know for sure that plant is clean. If it's not clean, you don't want to risk it. Man, Doc, you've been so insightful. I know that you're going to hop on here and do a presentation with us. We appreciate you coming out.
Absolutely.
With that said, if people want to reach out to you, what's your social media or contacts that they can reach out to get more information from you?
Yes, absolutely. So our website is just tumigenomics.com. We're also on Instagram at Tumi Genomics, and people are also welcome to just shoot us an email. I'm Tassa at tumigenomics.com, and I'm happy to answer any questions, whether you decide to test or not, just, questions about pathogens or whatever. We're absolutely supportive of just education too.
Excellent. Thank you for coming on to the Terps of the Beast Coast. We appreciate your time, and we'll see you later. Take care.
All right, sounds good. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.